0 hour, 9 a.m. And I'm gonna be high.
Hey, everybody. Well, good morning, everyone. It is a great day in Oklahoma to make Oklahoma healthy again. I love the spirit behind the MOHA movement. A desire to improve health outcomes across America without government mandates. And I want to first thank all of you for coming out and help celebrate and announce making Oklahoma healthy again. And I could not be happier to have the Secretary of Health and Human Services, Secretary Kennedy, in Oklahoma with us today. Secretary Kennedy, let me just tell you. Okay, I went to the White House. We were having dinner there at the beginning of this year. So President Trump's first big black tie dinner of his new presidency. All the cabinet secretaries were there, all the governors across the country. And I'm just telling you, the coolest person there, the person with the it factor, I came home and told all of my team, was Bobby Kennedy. Ladies and gentlemen, Oklahomans, put your hands together for Secretary Bobby Kennedy. Everybody. Thank you, everybody. I am so thrilled to be here with Governor Stitt today to, make these momentous announcements that are going to make Oklahoma healthy again. Oklahoma is 47th in health in the United States, and that's not a good thing. I'm hoping that when Governor Stitt leaves office in many, many, many years or decades, that Oklahoma will be doing much better. We're all concerned about what's happening particularly to our children's health in this country. We now have when I was a kid, we had the healthiest children in the world. And today we have the sickest children in the world. When I was a boy, when my uncle was president, I was a 10-year-old boy, and we had 3% of Americans had chronic disease at that point. Today, 60% had chronic disease. The obesity rate was 3% in the United States, and today it's about 50%. In Japan, where they don't allow children to eat processed food in the school, it's still at 3%. So, I read a report the other day that 15 years ago, there was virtually zero diabetes in China. And today, 51% of the adult population is diabetic or pre-diabetic. And part of the reason for that is they allowed 20,000 fast food joints in China, and they brought in American processed food. So we need to do something different. When I was a boy, the typical pediatrician would see one case of juvenile diabetes in their lifetime. Today, 38% of teens has diabetes or pre-diabetic. So one out of every 3 kids who walks through his office door is diabetic or pre-diabetic. In 1970, the largest epidemiological study ever done anywhere was done in the state of Wisconsin, where they looked at 900,000 kids looking for autism, and they knew very well what autism looked like. They found 3 children in the state. The autism incident rate at that time was 0.7 per 10,000, so less than 1 in 10,000. Today, 3 weeks ago, we released our latest numbers. 1 in every 31 kids has an autism diagnosis. And the numbers are actually probably much larger than that, because California, which is the best system for capturing autism incidents, has an autism rate of 1 in every 19 children, 1 in every 12.5 boys. This is unsustainable. By 2030, it's going to cost us just for autism $1 trillion a year. For diabetes, we're already at about $1 trillion a year. For mitochondrial disorders, it's affecting adults as well as children. 2 years ago, they reclassified Alzheimer's as type 3 diabetes because of the impact that food is having on our mitochondrial system. So we need to do something better in this country. When my uncle was president, we spent 0 on chronic disease in this country. There weren't any treatment. Today, we spend $1.7 trillion, and it's rising. Those expenditures are rising at 2% faster than our economy. This is an existential threat to our country in every way. Our national security. 75% of American kids cannot qualify for military service. The fertility rate is plummeting. Teenage boys today, American boys, have half the testosterone of 65-year-old men, half the sperm count. Our girls are reaching puberty 6 years early. So we have to do something different. And, you know, I came into this campaign saying, we've got to do something. I had 11 brothers and sisters, and I had about 70 first cousins. I never saw a case of diabetes. I didn't know anybody with a food allergy growing up, with a peanut allergy. I didn't know anybody who had autism. And I was at the spear tip of the movement for rights for people with intellectual disabilities. My aunt, Eunice Shriver, started Special Olympics. I worked in Special Olympics when I was 8 years old as a hunter and a coach before it was even named Special Olympics. It was called Camp Shriver. And I never saw kids who look like this. I walked through an airports yesterday. I see all these children, and I can look at them and see the inflammation and the mitochondrial dysfunction. And, you know, during COVID, we had the highest COVID death rate of any country in the world. We had 16% of the COVID deaths in this country, and we only have 4.2% of the world's population. And when CDC is asked about why did we have so many COVID deaths, they say, well, it's not our fault. We just have the sickest people in the world. We have the highest chronic disease burden. And according to CDC, the average American who died from COVID had 3.8 chronic diseases. So it was chronic disease that was killing these people, killing Americans. And we have to change that system. And it has to change from the top, which we're doing. But the real changes have to come from the grassroots, from local leadership, from individual Americans who are taking responsibility for their health. And I am so gratified about these actions that are now being taken by Governor Stitt to make Oklahoma healthy again. Oh, with the SNAP waivers, people say, well, aren't you being a nanny state? Aren't you taking soda drinks, sugar drinks, and candy and confectionery products away from the American people? And my answer to that is, if you want to drink a bottled soda, you should be able to have that right. We live in a country where we have individual freedom. The federal government should not be paying for it through taxpayer money. 10% of SNAP waivers go to soda drinks, and we're paying for them at the front end by buying soda for the poorest Americans. And then we're paying for them at the back end with this diabetes epidemic through Medicaid and Medicare. And it doesn't make any sense. We are poisoning the American people. You know, American children have an obesity crisis, but they didn't suddenly get indolent and lazy and gluttonous. We are mass poisoning them. We are doing this to them. And it's time now for us to take personal responsibility for our own health and to have leaders like Governor Stitt, to elect leaders like Governor Stitt, who will change the way that we do things in this country to give American kids a better chance of growing up healthy. I said this to President Trump the other day, that a healthy child has 1,000 dreams, but a sick child has only one. That they'll be able to make it through the day with all these medications that they're being forced to take, and to have no day where and it destroys their aspirations, their ambitions, the energy that they have to put into making their lives a better place and making our country a better place to live. And Governor Stitt often talks about the American dream. We're taking those dreams away from our kids, and we need to start giving it back. Oh, I want to thank Governor Stitt for this. All of these. You know, I talked to yesterday in Washington, D.C., I talked to the corrections officials, including some from Oklahoma, from all over the country. And before I went in there to give that talk, I looked at some of the data, some of the studies, and there were over a dozen studies that I found very quickly on Google that showed what happens when you change prison food. And there are studies that show that violence goes down by 38%, that assaults go down by 85%, that suicides in one juvenile facility went down 100%, the use of restraints goes down 75%. Well, when we start feeding, this food is poisoning not only our health, but our mental health as well. And, you know, we need to start giving better food to our children in our schools and give them a chance. You are so lucky in this state to have a visionary leader like Governor Stitt, who is fearless, who is doing everything he can to protect your health, the health of the people of Oklahoma. It's going to save money. It's going to give us all better lives. So thank you all very, very much for being here.
Thank you so much, Secretary. It's such an honor to have you in the great state of Oklahoma. And today we're going to get the ball rolling on MOHA, Making Oklahoma Healthy Again. You know, I want to be top 10 in everything we do, and that is also healthy families in the state of Oklahoma. So today, I'm proud to announce that the team at Oklahoma DHS has submitted a waiver for SNAP benefits in Oklahoma. So our tax dollars are not going to continue to fund foods that are making people sick. This waiver is on Secretary Brooke Rawlins' desk right now at the USDA, and we're asking that she allow us to take soda, candy, and confectionery items off of the SNAP list. We're also going to work with the USDA to find more ways to promote healthy eating for families on SNAP benefits and to cause those dollars to go further. You know, eating healthy foods today is going to reduce healthcare spending and dietary related illnesses later on in life. I'm also going to sign an executive order that continues to promote health in our state. I'm instructing the Oklahoma Department of Health to stop recommending fluoride in our water. You know, cities and water districts, they can still choose to do what they want based on their constituents and the science, but it's no longer going to be a recommendation from the state health department. I'm also instructing the state agencies that provide meals. This is pretty common sense, Secretary, but all the state agencies that provide meals to Oklahomans, whether it be school lunches or in our prisons, to discontinue the use of artificial dyes. And we're going to be convening an advisory council to study and recommend other changes that can make and improve the health outcomes across the state of Oklahoma. Mr. Secretary, let's sign this executive order. We have an opportunity now to encourage Oklahomans to make more healthy choices. And we're going to be doing other things this summer to promote fitness and wellness. And you know how much I love gardening, so we may do a little garden contest as well. Encourage you to post different videos, tag me on it. And so we're really, really excited. I do the Memorial Marathon every year, the relay race. And so we just want to continue to promote health and wellness in the state of Oklahoma. We'll open it up for a few questions, 2 questions for myself or the secretary.
I mean, mental health care, and particularly the issues of addiction and the epidemic that we're having now in suicide, is among our greatest priorities at HHS. And we fund services through Medicaid, through Medicare, through HRSA. We're going to continue to fund those services robustly. And we're focusing also on assisting the states and developing their own, becoming laboratories for how to treat these illnesses. I have to say, as I mentioned before, at part of the mental health crisis, there's more and more emerging science that shows how it's directly connected to our food. And as we improve our food through initiatives like Governor Stitt's initiatives here, we are going to be doing part of the job of ending the mental health crisis in our country.
Go ahead. Well, of course, I'm removing dyes in the state of Oklahoma for, education lunches served in schools, lunches served in prisons, lunches the state pays for. So I need to look at the specific bill you're talking about. I can't remember. I guess it didn't make it across the finish line this year. Did it get out of the Senate? Is it in the House? Full on. Gotcha. Yeah, we'll look at all those bills next year. I think there's certainly a movement across the country to look at what's happening with the health and with this guy's leadership. We want to make sure that Oklahoma's leading the way. Thank you. Thanks, everybody.